here we have a case. This is a revision case. On first glance, you say, not a bad case. You're right. That's what I said initially. But she asked for bigger, wider teeth. And I said, well, then we have to redo what you currently have. So let's jump into the case. All right, so what are we looking at here? We are looking at 4 teeth that were done that are veneers. And if you look at them, you're like, actually, this is not bad work. Sure, the teeth may be a little bit short, a little square looking. Proportion-wise to each tooth, I would say is probably not ideal. The size of this front lateral tooth and the size of the central is pretty much equal in size there. When you're looking at both of them, you're probably seeing the first 4 front teeth. And then they're also the same height as basically the rest of the smile. And you're essentially losing the depth of the smile and the broadness in the smile by just focusing on those front 4 teeth. However, like I mentioned, the color actually isn't all that bad. So from the side, if you look, these are a little bit smaller teeth, a bit more gum showing here, but look how much bigger this lateral is than this canine. I mean, that is massively disproportionate, and so redoing just those 4 front teeth is impossible. You have to consider the entire smile when thinking about how to replace the existing veneers and add on veneers. And so from the back, you want to call these veneers. To me, I would unfortunately not call these veneers. This is more like crown preparations, but her doctors call them veneers. You can see how thick that is. It's totally unnecessary to make it that thick. Because that means that you had to shave more tooth. And if you're trying to go for a natural, beautiful tooth, you don't actually need to shave that much. We could have very thin porcelain, anywhere from 0.5 millimeters to 1 millimeter in thickness. There are these little gaps over here behind the canines that will get filled in with porcelain. And if we look here, the goal is to change the architecture ever so slightly of the front teeth. Sometimes you could get away with just using a laser, or other times you have to do crown lengthening. Look out for what crown lengthening is. And then in this case, we'll raise the gums and then also lengthened those back teeth so that the architecture of the lip flows completely with the rest of the smile. And this is the preparations once I remove the veneers. Yes, this is what somebody called a veneer preparation. Unfortunately, this is a massively aggressive preparation. And then you can see these are the virgin teeth. Now, as we move to the next slide, notice that those preparations are now cleaned up after I used a laser to remove those old veneers. And now this is what I call a veneer prep. This is where the margin goes, and it goes around just like that. The veneer then goes over the top, slips right on top of the tooth, as opposed to this level of porcelain that has to go all around. This amount of about 1 millimeter of thickness versus 3 millimeters of thickness is a massive difference in the amount of tooth and minimal invasiveness, how to be minimally invasive for your patients. I'm showing you this case because I want you to truly understand what is out there and what people call veneers, and what I in our office call a veneer preparation. So I'm going to just zoom in onto the other side again real quick. That's a veneer preparation, right? So let's compare that tooth, this natural tooth that I didn't shave yet, to this tooth that I reshaped. Completely in it, 100% in enamel, very little amount of tooth needed to be removed. So let's now jump into this view from the top. You can see that this preparation had to wrap all the way around. Obviously, we needed clean margins for the ceramist to see, but from the back, you can see 95% of this tooth structure still remains, whereas a whole lot less remains on this one. So that is all that needs to be removed in order to have a veneer placed. And here is the porcelain. You can see some of the stone here because I brought the veneers back. I didn't need it to be as thick as it was originally, yet now what we have is the proper gum proportions, the beautiful shapes of the teeth, really nice texture, and as well now the edges of the teeth follow really beautifully, which will go nicely with the contour of the lip. Here you can see again where the porcelain needs to start and stop, as opposed to in the front, how much tooth needed to be shaved. So I'm showing you multiple different examples and iterations of the same exact thing so that you can appreciate it from a non-prepped tooth to a prepped tooth to analyzing even how the porcelain lays on the stone models. And guess what you're going to see next? You guessed it, how they look in the smile themselves. So here is a lateral view of the tissue healing beautifully, the color of the teeth, the entire smile flowing nicely from left to right, how it completely follows the shape of the lower lip. From the back, you can see this is the veneer stopping here as opposed to going all the way over here, all the way around. And this is what it looks like retracted. There's some really nice characteristics here of natural blend of color from the top down. I call this transition of shade. So it's a little bit more creamy at the gum line, a nice beautiful pop in the middle, and down at the bottom there's a natural translucency. And so this is what makes a tooth look like a real tooth. This is the final outcome, beautiful smile. This is where we started. Like I said, it's not bad, but to make a smile from not bad to gorgeous, that's kind of where you have to visualize the end product.